Now, the 15th race of the 2025 Formula One season was the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort. So, at this Grand Prix, in the qualifying session, Oscar Piastri managed to put it on pole position, and his teammate Lando Norris was in second, and in third position you had Max Verstappen. So it was a good starting position for Max at his home Grand Prix. Okay, moving on to the race, Piastri kept the lead from pole position, but in the first few corners, Max had a brilliant move on Lando Norris, and he managed to pass Lando Norris to take second position. And he even ended up making a mistake at turn 3, but he kept the place. Okay, so even though Max overtook Lando Norris on the first lap, on lap 9, he got overtaken by Lando Norris on the outside of turn 1 because, the McLaren was the superior car at this Grand Prix. Okay, so there was a crash here by Lewis Hamilton, which brought out the virtual safety car, and, Piastri kept the lead. Piastri kept the lead from the safety car, the virtual safety car, and also there was a second safety car in which Piastri kept the lead again. And then there was a DNF by Lando Norris here. He had an engine failure on lap 65. So on lap 65, Lando Norris had a DNF failure from an engine failure from second position, and that was really, really bad for him because he was on to score some strong points, even though he would have lost points to Oscar Piastri. And he was even like just about 2 or 3 seconds behind when he had a DNF. So, and there was about 4 or 5 laps to go, so he would have had a chance to try and overtake, and he could have made an overtake, but it wasn't to be. And then he dropped out of the race, and he dropped 18 points there, or a possible 25 points there. So him not able to finish the race, Max Verstappen ended up taking second position because he was running in third all that while after losing, the second position on lap 9 to Lando. And, that DNF allowed Isaac Hadjar in the Racing Bull to score his first ever podium in Formula One, as a rookie, and score 15 points. So that was a really, really brilliant race for, Isaac Hadjar. So in the end, the race classification was Oscar Piastri finished first and he took 25 points. Max Verstappen finished second and he took 18 points. And Isaac Hadjar finished third and he took 15 points. And Lando Norris, retired, with a chassis problem. Okay, so now, looking at the Drivers' Championship after the Dutch Grand Prix, you had Oscar Piastri with 309 points here, and then you had Lando Norris with 275 points, and then you had Max Verstappen with 205 points. So Oscar was a lot of points, a lot of points off Piastri's, championship lead. He was 34 points off Piastri's championship lead, and he would have had to put on a more monumental battle, to come back from that after the Dutch Grand Prix. And then Max Verstappen was over 100 points down on, Oscar Piastri after the race. So Oscar Piastri had 309 points, yeah, and Max Verstappen had 205 points, yeah, which was about 104 points difference. So after the Dutch Grand Prix, yeah, Max Verstappen was 104 points off the championship, lead. So he would have had to put another, great championship battle, in the last few races, in the last, 9 races, to even have a chance of even, winning or, making it a battle, to closing in on the McLarens. So, the biggest loser here was, Lando Norris. He lost a lot of points. And Max closed up a lot of points on Lando, even though he was 70 points down on Lando and he was 104 points down on Oscar. So the next race would have been the Italian Grand Prix. So after the Dutch Grand Prix, it was the summer break, and then the Italian Grand Prix would have been the 16th race of the season.